I hope the sun is shining wherever you are, and if it's not shining on the outside, I absolutely hope that it's shining on the inside. Feel free as you're coming in to give me a thumbs up. Let me know you can hear me, because it's quite possible you're watching this on some social media platform, whether it be Facebook or YouTube or one of my go-to channels. Okay, so let's do that. Let's make sure things are the way that they should be. Check, check, 1, 2, 1, 2. 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 All right. Boom, almost there. Bang, bang, bang. Cool. Great. So, won't keep you long. I know that it is a school night, not that that means much nowadays. And as you all know, I typically will try to wear a shirt that has some kind of meaning to it. So, this says you can run, but you can't hide. I'm talking to success people. Success, you can run, but you can't hide. I'm on your heels. I'm chasing after you nonstop. You're going to get tired before I do because I'm going to catch you. That's a little dramatic, but whatever, you know me sometimes. Anyway, so let's get right to it, all right? 3 things that you should certainly be learning, sharpening, or investing in. These are non-negotiables in the business world. That is what we would call them, non-negotiables. 3 things that at this point in time, for those of y'all who, let's say, that the world has slowed down a little bit, a lot of people are still at work and in the trenches and making crazy sacrifices, and we thank them, we appreciate them. So, you have a bit of a head start if you're not one of those folks. And even still, if you are one of those folks, the world will never be the same. We know this, okay? So it is time to sharpen. It's time to learn, sharpen, and invest in these 3 things. I will name them, and then I'll briefly explain why and how you can learn, sharpen, and invest in them. But again, it's non-negotiable, okay? The first one is public speaking. Now, still, oddly enough, it turns out that is one of the biggest fears that people carry, is speaking in front of audiences. And you're thinking, no, Stan, I'm comfortable. I can speak. Well, my son can speak, right? He's not even 2. He knows how to talk as best he can. It doesn't mean that he knows how to connect with folks, right, in the way that you might want to connect with them. Sometimes people misunderstand being able to be loud or being able to be confident in front of people, simply confident, or being able to be outgoing is public speaking, right? It's kind of like, people will come up, oh, I could do that. Oh, really? Nobody ever goes into a surgery thinking like, oh, doc, I could do that. Like, no, you couldn't, right? It takes training, right? It takes a certain level of focus and understanding the do's and don'ts. There's an art form to public speaking and connecting with people, connecting with audiences and understanding them, right? Whether it's an audience of 2 or an audience of 2,000, right? Or if it's a virtual audience, as we'll get to in a moment. But ultimately, that's something that regardless of the field you're in, you should be finding a way to sharpen your axe, learn the principles and how to be dynamic in whatever way is most comfortable for you, and investing in how to learn public speaking. Okay. Now, if you have any questions about this, feel free to throw them in the comments somewhere. I will put them somewhere. I'll certainly answer any questions that you might have, but that's something to constantly remember. Again, because there's a lot of noise out here. There's a lot of people doing things like, oh, they're comfortable. Perfect example. And, in terms of public speaking, because public speaking means that you're not always in control of the narrative or how people receive things. I never forget Odell Bazell and I were in New York City last year for a private event, and we're in Times Square, and everyone had their phones out, talking to their phone, to social media, being super outgoing, speaking publicly, right? And I actually went around to a number of people wanting to know what their opinion was on mindset. Hey, would you mind telling me what your opinion was on mindset? Would you mind? No, thank you. No, thank you. The same people that were like, yeah, Yeah, I'm comfortable here, right? Because it's a narrative that you can control right here. But when I was like, hey, would you mind just sharing something about XYZ? It's super brief. It's not, it was like, right? Public speaking is not always convenient. It's not always easy. It's not going to always be in front of an audience that you know. And that is the difference between a professional and an amateur, right? Or being comfortable going in asking for that raise, being comfortable going in to ask for that promotion, or so what's next? See, public speaking isn't just about being in front of a huge audience or presenting in that way, right? Public speaking is also interacting with just one other individual, being able to say things decisively, surely, and confidently, so people will pick up what you're putting down. And this is the part where I tell you that you don't have to be good, unfortunately, because sometimes confidence can be confused for competence. Okay, I'm going to say that again. Sometimes confidence can be confused with competence, right? So sometimes confidence will get you half the way there, but you ultimately want to know what you're talking about, because, confidence all by itself isn't always sustainable. And even when it is, it's stressful, it's anxiety ridden, and that's not who you want to be. If you're coming across this video, it's not who you want to be, just with confidence and nothing to stand on, right? That's not you. You shouldn't want it to be. So again, public speaking, that's number one. Number two, being able to virtually engage, right? It's different, period, right? Energy is good. You can always have good energy, right? There are a lot of people that talk with their hands a lot. You don't want to, like, you see what just happened here? Like, that's talking too much with my hands for a virtual engagement. What you might see me do is use slower hand movements. So it's not like I'm Neo in the Matrix and there's a bunch going on, right? I want to be clear. I want to be easy to understand. You have to know that body language is literally a different language. You want people to be able to follow where you're going, and you want your movements to coincide with the words that you're speaking. That's a very small piece of what that virtual engagement is. In virtual engagement, much like in front of an audience, you want to be offering something that people are willing to receive. Are you helping them? Are you being helpful? Are you inviting them in? See, virtual engagement is about hosting an amazing party that people want to show up to and that they have a good time while they're there. Virtual engagement does not imply that you are the one running the show. It's not about you at all. Virtual engagement is making sure people are comfortable in your space. The more you make people feel comfortable in your space, the more they will engage. If you give them something to engage with, they will engage. It can't always be, look at me, I'm great. At some point, you will see there be a subtle shift in your likes and your comments and your shares. People don't want to engage when it's all about you. They want to be a part of the party. They want to be a part of the solution. They want to be a part of the discussion. So if you're looking to learn how to engage virtually, create an opportunity for discussion. Now you have to decide what kind of discussion you want to engage in. Do you want to be helpful? Do you want it to be meaningful? Do you want to be divisive? Do you want to be, you have to answer that question as you create these discussions. Do you want to be mean? Do you want to be funny? Do you want to be divisive? Do you want to be thought-provoking? Understand that you must have some kind of brand if you want people to continue to follow you. I just always err on the side of good vibes. That's just me. If what I do is structured around mindset and being a better version of yourself from the inside out, from the neck up, then it would make sense that I would promote good vibes, right? There's some folks out there that enjoy being divisive and controversial. I don't mind controversial conversation. I don't mind thought provocation, but I think there can be a fine line, and you have to be careful of the energy that you put out there, because that energy will often come to find you. And in virtual engagement, you will also be able to invite, with the kind of discussions you create, you will be able to invite the audience that you're creating. So if right now your audience isn't who you want to sell to talk to engage with, that's your fault. If my audience begins to dip into an audience that does not reflect who I want to sell to, interact to, then that's my fault, and I have to change some things around. You may have to change some things around, right? Disengage with negativity, disengage with divisiveness, and engage posts that are more reflective of who you're trying to be. If they are some people who are continuously stepping over the line in terms of the kind of content that they post or want you to engage with, simply block them or unfriend them. That's really easy. Sometimes people are, I can't believe I'm a grown man. If I don't let you bother me in my real life, why would I let you bother me in my virtual life? Not just that, why would I want that person to affect the people who would like to be around good vibes? It just doesn't make sense. The other part of virtual engagement is maybe you creating a group that fosters the vibe that you continuously work on and create. If you can do that, you'll build a community that knows, likes, and trusts you and willing to engage with you along the way. Last but certainly not least, so we have public speaking. You need to learn, sharpen, and invest in that. Virtual engagement, you need to learn, sharpen, and invest in that. Last but certainly not least, sales and marketing. Sales and marketing. Learn it, sharpen it, invest in it. You're like, Stan, I hate sales. I hate sales. If you hate sales, it's possible that you may not be that great at it, or maybe you're looking at it in the wrong way. But what I want you to understand is everything is marketing and sales. Everything. If you are in a relationship right now, if you'd like to be in a relationship, sales and marketing. If you'd like a new job opportunity, if you'd like a raise, sales and marketing. If you want someone's attention, if you want their virtual attention, if you want their virtual currency, sales and marketing. If you are in any situation ever, heck, if you are a teacher, sales and marketing. Why? Because you're marketing your ability to teach others. If you're able to sell them on your ability in different ways, then they will receive you. They will want to buy what you're selling. They'll be easier to teach once they know, like, and trust you, which are pivotal points in sales and marketing. This to me is not even debatable, but I'd be willing to have a discussion on what it means to understand sales and marketing. Understanding that stories help you market. Your experiences help you sell. It can't be buy this. I want you to do this. That is not how it works. But that's also why it's important to learn, sharpen, and invest in those things. So I hope this was useful to you all. I did not want to keep you too long, but understand that now is the time, because guess what? The world is going to open back up. And when it does, you're either going to be 10 steps ahead or 10 steps behind. It is time. Cut the excuses to invest in something greater than yourself, to create another set of skills. If you have kids, they should learn now how to speak publicly. And that is not just being comfortable speaking in front of people, but comfortable connecting with people. All right. Also, virtual engagement. Understand what virtual engagement is, how to create it, and how to maintain it. Right. And last but certainly not least, which we were just talking about, is sales and marketing. Everything. You can't debate me on this. Everything is sales and marketing. And the sooner you understand that, the better. Oftentimes, sales is seen as like the boogeyman. Maybe it's because of the way you were sold on something. Some people often miss out on opportunities because they don't want to be sold. right? We had a discussion, I think I posted the other day about Blockbuster Video. The owner of Blockbuster had a chance to buy Netflix, did not want to be sold, right? Sometimes people are so busy not wanting to be sold that they miss out on an opportunity that could help them in their present and future lives. So understand these small things. You don't have to take my advice, but you would be so much more well off if you just took a little bit of it and applied pressure to everything before. Just be willing to do something. My favorite quote for 2020. This is my favorite quote. You can use it. Just make sure you quote me. Effort on fire beats knowledge on ice. I'm going to say that again. I know you heard me and you might have nodded with me like, oh, but you were right. Oh, it was the right face. Let me say that again. Effort on fire beats knowledge on ice. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to do it right all the time, but it's important that you do. Period. Effort on fire beats knowledge on ice. That is what this is all about every day, all day. Be willing to try something. There are a number of folks that are just going to watch this. That's it. They're just going to listen to this. They're not going to do anything. They think it's a game. Last year when I was talking about automation and how automation would be replacing people, people thought it was a game. I didn't know how it would happen, but in lieu of this pandemic and everything that's been going on, automation has stepped in because people haven't been able to in some cases. 70% of companies, a ton of people being laid off and never going back to their job, whatever it is. So that's why it's important to build a skill set. Institutions starting late, educating everyone differently. Everything is being virtual. Sometimes people are struggling with the way they engage because they were struggling engaging person to person. Now we're on virtually, right? So what are you going to do that's going to help set you apart? How do you ensure that, heck, even if you don't keep your job, you put yourself in a position for another one? It's creating another skill set. A large amount of the population is not very good at public speaking. They're not very good at virtual engagement. They're not very good at sales and marketing. So it would be to your major advantage if you got good at those three things. Heck, you could get so good at them that you begin to teach other people yourself. That's why you learn things, right? Obviously, you learn to have knowledge, right? But then you want to apply that knowledge. Again, because effort on fire beats knowledge on ice. That's it. So I hope that made sense. I hope this was helpful to you. I do have some resources for you all. Two things. Obviously, tomorrow I have my masterclass, my free masterclass, my favorite four-letter F word, free masterclass on how to create virtual engagement without creating more work in isolated communities, right? That's going to be fire. I'm excited about it. It's going to be good. It's going to be engaging. It's going to be unlike most experience you've probably had in a masterclass. So there may be some seats left, but just go to bestfirstyearever.com. Let me see if I can type that in. Bestfirstyearever.com. Yes, free 99. Free 99. Oof. Hurts me when I say it, but I'm gonna give you the funk and the fire. Right? It is free.99, okay? But if you just go to bestfirstyearever.com, it'll be there when I get off here. In case it didn't go through on all social media platforms, I'll make sure to put that there. So go to bestfirstyearever.com, register for that. And also, I know there are a lot of people who engage with me who are interested in what I do, would like to do what I do, or have an interest in being a college speaker. And myself and business partner Odell Bazell II are hosting an incredible college speaking event. So I would just ask you to go to collegespeakerfastpass.com. I'm going to type that in. collegespeakerfastpass.com. Right. And again, when I get out of here, I'll make sure I repost that. And you're like, Stan, why is this important? One thing that I've noticed, no, not noticed. Well, yeah, I noticed it, realized it, was this. Uh, in order to gain certain information, in order to learn, sometimes you had to be in certain circles. You had to move. You had to develop. You had to pay. That's what you had to. You had to pay. That was it, right? Like there's some things that I know now because I paid to know them. I know most of my colleagues because I paid to know them. It sounds crazy. I remember years ago in college, and people, oh, don't pay for your friends. People would make fun of people in fraternities and sororities saying they pay for their friends. But I think those were obviously some people just repeat what they hear, and some people just don't know. And then I realized that whether it's nepotism or relationship building, authentically building relationships, that most people who have meaningful relationships paid to meet the people that they're in that relationship with. You can call me a liar if you want to, but I'm pretty sure that's generally what happens. The reason I know my business partner paid to go to an event, he was there. The reason I know some of my friends, I paid a membership to be a part of a gym that they're also a part of. Heck, I don't know my wife. I paid to get in the club that night. The rest is none of your business, but I paid to get in, right? You have to pay to play. And I consider, let's say, paying to play is kind of like your fast pass. You generally pay for speed. That's it. I've had really successful people mention that. I've heard Tony Robbins say that. I've heard Grant Cardone say that. I've heard Brendan Burchard say that. I've heard some of the greats say that essentially, the Alex Mendosians of the world, some of these people you may have never heard of, but they're brilliant beyond words. Russell Brunson, I've heard him say that. Like, listen, you pay for speed. So you'll get there eventually. But at some point, it's important that you are willing to invest in something, anything that helps you be better. It's just a different kind of brotherhood, sisterhood, whatever relationship when you decide to invest to be around other like-minded people. And I'll say this is the last thing because I'm not pitching anything. I'm just giving you advice on why you should invest in things. When you invest in organizations, when you invest in products, what you're doing is you are making a conscious decision to put yourself around people with a similar mindset and goal. That's it. Like whenever I've bought a book, a program, a class, or I paid to go to an event, I was putting myself in a position to spend time with people that had like minds and goals. Otherwise, I'm literally just needle in a haystack hoping to come in contact with the right people. So that's all I get. Two things. If you're interested in trying to reserve a seat for my masterclass tomorrow on how to create virtual engagement, go to bestfirstyearever.com. Do that. It didn't go through last time. Let me see. Best first year ever. Cool. Go there. Hey, what's going on, y'all? What's happening? So I'll answer any questions y'all might have. I don't know what question you might have, but click around to see if y'all have any questions for me before I get on up out of here. Hey, what's going on, D? What's happening? Great to see you. D says, when public speaking, what are some safe techniques to keep the audience engaged? Do you piece in random subtle jokes here and there? Do you need to reiterate your message and summary at the end of your speech? Is it best to speak on 3 points, or is there a different rule of thumb? Awesome. Hey, Greggy, what's happening? All right, so D, hopefully you're still there. Here's the best advice I could ever give in terms of how to structure your talks. I generally tell people work in 3, 5, or 7 points. Why? Because morning, noon, and night. Think about how people think and then plug into their normal way of thinking. We think in 3s, right? Morning, noon, and night. We think Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 5. Saturday, Sunday. That's 7. That's the normal way that we think. Anything beyond that, unless you're a serious pro, don't go above 7, 9, 81 ways to, it's a bear. That's a bear. Okay. So again, 3 points is great. And you can even So something you hear me say often is you're good, you're great, you're worth it. I could build a 45-minute talk around those three points around that tagline, but I use it as a tagline. I'll also tell people look good, feel good, be good. Those are three things that they will remember. So if even they can't remember everything I'm going to say, because who can, right? They'll remember look good, feel good, and be good. So I'm just working my way up. So 3 points is a great, great, great place to start. And you can have a story that will touch each and every one of those points. Look good, feel good, be good. So if it's look good, heck, it's sometimes it's tough to look good during, during a pandemic when it seems like all is falling around. Like, have you ever like just felt have you ever been in a situation where you just have not felt like you looked that great before? Have you? Right, you're probably on the other side of the screen nodding with me right now, like, yeah, I have. Boom. That's the part of the story. You bring your audience in. Everyone has had a feeling where they've not looked their best. But heck, one tool, one key thing you can do is you can get up as best you can, even when you're not feeling your best. If you have some time, you shower real quick, you brush your teeth. It sounds simple, but it wakes you up in the morning, doesn't it? Right? I'm smiling with you now. Your audience will smile with you too, even if it's through the screen, because now you're taking them along on a journey that they too have experienced something small that has a major effect on them. Do I reiterate my message and summary at the end of the speech? So I certainly want to recap. I always want to recap, so if the message is, again, if it's look good, feel good, be good, you want to make sure at the very end that, maybe throughout the time it's, hey, make sure you're always doing your best to look good. If you look good, you feel good. If you look good and feel good, then you'll most likely be good, right? And then just carrying that through your talk, through your engagement. And then you can ask, hey, what's the first thing you want to do out of those three things, or three things we're discussing? What's the first one? Someone's going to say, look good, boom. You know what I'm saying? And that's the way you get people engaged, or keep people engaged. Do I piece in random solo jokes? I always make sure that my jokes are a part of a story. And now in my life, I'm transparent enough where I'm willing to share things that make me human. In the very beginning of my speaking career, I wanted to be perfect. I want to look perfect to my audience. But I realized the more I tried to look perfect, I was being a fraud, because who's perfect? No one, right? So be willing to talk about that embarrassing moment, that time where I had on brand new dress shoes, and I was on a brand new stage, and I was walking around in a circle, role playing a part, during my speech, and I slipped. I was parallel to the floor and slipped, like, whew, it was tough to feel good. Certainly tough to look good. But I recovered, right? The show must go on. Has there ever been a time where you were ever embarrassed? Of course. Boom, got you again, right? You know what I'm saying? But that is a true story. So it's about just connecting, being able to be transparent. That was real, though. When public speaking, what are some safe techniques to keep the audience engaged? Yeah, you know what? Always just asking questions that give life, asking questions that matter. So I'll just ask you, like, what questions matter? Like, if you're trying to make people better, heck, family members better, think about life-giving questions. And then the answers, then wait for their answers. Those create the best conversations ever. That engages an audience when you ask them a question where they can go, whoa, they're plugged in. They're here with me. It's not a canned situation. All right, cool. I think that's everything. I don't know if I think I got everything. All right. Appreciate you all big time. Thank you for being here. If I can ever be of more service, let me know. Anything. Go. All right, great. I think that's everything. Have a great, great evening, a great day, great life whenever you see this. I hope this served you in some way, shape, or form. Again, go to bestfirstyearever.com or College Speaker and College Speaker Fast Pass for more information on the speaker training if you're interested in being a college speaker. And just remember 24/7, 365 and 1 days a year that you're good, you're great, you're worth it all day, every day. This is Stan Pearson II, you're first. Peace.